The film opens in Los Angeles. Emily, a young artist, dreams of visiting South America one day, but she is struggling with her circumstances. Due to a past criminal record, she cannot secure a decent job to manage her college debt and living expenses. During a job interview, Emily is asked about her criminal history. She lies, claiming she was arrested for a DUI, but the interviewer catches her in the lie, revealing he conducted a background check. He suggests they start over and be truthful with each other. He then asks about the assault charge she was convicted of. Emily initially tries to keep up the pretense but soon becomes angry. She confronts the interviewer for deceiving her, and he responds that he sometimes has to do this because applicants are not always honest, stressing the importance of the job. Feeling violated and humiliated, Emily leaves in a fury. She works for a catering company as a private contractor, which barely pays enough to cover her bills. One day, she helps a colleague by covering his shift so he can take his son to a game. In return, he gives her a contact for a dummy shopper service. A dummy shopper buys items on behalf of another person to hide the buyer's identity. Emily is intrigued by the idea when her coworker tells her she could earn $200 an hour. That night, she texts the number given to her, receiving an address and a time in response. She then goes to a bar with an old college friend. Emily mentions she might need to move in with her stepfather to save money, and her friend Liz insists she shouldn't. Liz offers to talk to her boss and vouch for her. They spend the evening drinking and getting high. When Emily arrives at the given address, she discovers the dummy shopper service is actually a credit card fraud ring. One of the leaders, Khalil, creates false identity documents for their agents. The other leader, Youssef, briefs the participants, explaining they need to make purchases using stolen credit cards. Each participant will be paid $200. Youssef acknowledges the illegal nature of the activity and gives anyone uncomfortable the chance to leave. After listening, Emily decides it's too risky and gets up to leave, but Youssef persuades her to try it. Emily's first task is to buy a plasma TV with a stolen card and fake ID. She reluctantly agrees. To her surprise, the job goes smoothly, prompting her to take on another one. This time, the stakes are higher as she has to buy a car with a no-limit credit card. Youssef tells her she will earn $2,000 for it. The next day, Emily works with Javier, and they have a small mishap with the food they're delivering. While cleaning up, she gets a call from Liz, who tells her the company isn't hiring anyone at the moment. Emily questions if Liz really spoke to her boss, offending Liz. Emily hangs up, later cleaning up in the bathroom when she takes out the phone Youssef gave her. She decides not to text him and throws the phone in the bin but reconsiders when she hears a message ping. She retrieves the phone and sees a message from Youssef asking if she's in or out. Emily asks Javier to handle the rest of the shift, giving him her delivery money, and heads to the job. Youssef gives her the card and documents, telling her she has 8 minutes to leave with the purchased car once the card is swiped. Otherwise, she will be caught. Emily is still hesitant and asks how she can know it's safe. Youssef tells her she can't and that she can back out if she wants. She decides to go through with it and enters the building. She meets the seller and purchases the car, keeping an eye on the clock as he swipes the card and checks her ID and documents. Just as she's about to leave, the seller asks her to come inside for a moment due to a missed detail. When Emily resists, the man attacks her, but she barely escapes unscathed. Shaken, she yells at Youssef when he sees her bloody face. She takes her money and walks away, breaking down. Youssef follows and offers her a ride home, then offers ice for her wounds. They talk, and Youssef discovers her sketches. He shares his dream of buying rental property with his fraud money. Emily asks how much someone can make from this, and Youssef agrees to show her the process. The next day at work, Emily's boss questions her about missing work the previous day. She apologizes, saying it was an emergency, but he cuts back her hours, leading to an argument. Youssef then invites Emily to the warehouse, showing her how to make fake credit cards. He also gives her a taser for protection and advises her not to sell stolen goods from home or Target the same place twice in a week. That night, Emily begins making fake cards and executing scams. She becomes skilled at selling fraudulent products and makes good money quickly, all while continuing her catering job. Liz, who is going to Portugal, leaves her dog with Emily to look after. She also apologizes for the job situation, promising to help when the right opportunity arises. One day, Emily visits Youssef, who is impressed with her work. He offers her more high-limit cards so she can make bigger purchases. Khalil enters and inquires about what's happening, prompting Youssef to lie about Emily's involvement in their fraudulent activities. One night, a buyer follows Emily home, breaks in, and restrains her while they rob her and take Liz's dog. After they leave, Emily retrieves her money and the dog using her taser, demonstrating she is no longer willing to be pushed around. A few days later, Emily attends a party at Liz's place, where she returns the dog. Liz informs her about a job opening and that she has secured an interview with her boss, Alice. Emily also invites Youssef to the party, and they start dating after he jokingly offers to pretend to be her boyfriend. One day, Youssef invites Emily for lunch at his place, where she gets along with everyone until Khalil reveals that Emily was caught hitting the same store twice in a week, leading the store to post her security footage online. This revelation causes a rift between Youssef and Khalil, who cuts Youssef out of the fraud ring. Emily attends the interview with Alice, which goes well until Alice mentions the position is an unpaid internship for the first 5 to 6 months. This infuriates Emily, as she cannot afford to work without pay while in debt. When Emily objects, Alice insults her, calling her spoiled, and recounts how she worked in a room full of men at Emily's age. Emily points out that at least Alice was working. The interview ends badly, and Emily storms out. Youssef later reveals to Emily that Khalil hasn't paid him for months. The owner of the rental property Youssef plans to buy demands an immediate down payment, leading Youssef to decide to rob the fraud ring. After the interview, Youssef and Emily arrive at the storage unit, only to find Khalil has taken everything and emptied their shared business account. Youssef lashes out at Emily, blaming her for everything because she scammed the same store twice, despite his warnings. Emily counters, saying Khalil was planning to betray Youssef all along because he never stood up to him. She insists they need to confront Khalil, but Youssef hesitates, fearing Khalil's threat. Emily asserts they must make their own rules and convinces Youssef to confront Khalil at his safe house. Emily pretends to be delivering food and uses a taser on the man who answers the door. They take his phone and lock him in the trunk of a car. They text the other men to leave as they head upstairs to find Khalil. However, Khalil is nowhere to be seen. While searching, Emily discovers Khalil has severely injured Youssef, who is unconscious. Khalil attacks Emily, attempting to strangle her. Thinking quickly, Emily uses a box cutter from her pocket to stab him. As Khalil falls, Emily threatens him, demanding to know where the money is. Initially, Khalil denies there is any money, but Emily counts to 3, threatening to slit his throat. Khalil finally confesses that the cash is in the fridge. Emily retrieves the money and helps Youssef to the car. She asks for his keys, but they are lost. Youssef, in bad condition, eventually faints as police sirens approach. Tearfully, Emily decides to take the money and leave Youssef in the car. She walks away to a bus stop, cleans herself up, and decides to keep moving forward. Next, the police raid Emily's apartment, finding it empty. Emily has traveled to South America, where she enjoys the sights, sketches, and swims in the ocean. Eventually, she settles down, recruiting people to be dummy shoppers. She briefs them similarly to how Youssef did, explaining the choice to engage in illegal activities is theirs. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification button so that you don't miss any of our video updates.